questions why Michael Cohen would give this kind of an interview in the first place and why now. Stormy Daniels' attorney, Michael Avenatti, weighed in, tweeting, if Mr. Cohen really gave an off-camera interview to George Stephanopoulos, whom I respect, for GMA, he is dumber than I thought. He is playing games and trying to play both sides. There is only one way he can have any legitimate shot at saving his reputation. That on Twitter. Now in person, Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano. So he went from taking a bullet to taking an interview.
Right. I don't know why he would do this. I can't imagine his lawyers would want him to do so. There's no good that can come from somebody who's under a federal microscope. He's not a subject of a criminal investigation like the president. He's the target of a criminal investigation. That means he's very close to being indicted for something. We don't know what. I can speculate if you want. No good can come from trying to communicate to those who are trying to indict you through television rather than through your lawyers.
And I would add, if we got you to speculate, it would be more like, a connotation than real speculation, because you're looking at all the facts here. Real quickly, though, talk to me about the substance of what he told ABC, and then we can talk about what he might face.
The substance of what he told ABC, if it's true and if he means it, should cause the president sleepless nights. I mean, Michael Cohen was not only the president's lawyer, he was his fixer. That is, the president asked him to do things that lawyers don't typically do. You see this problem, make it go away. You know where to get the cash.
Which comes to the question that I've seen asked in different ways, and I don't know what they'll ask of Michael Cohen, but why did the president trust him? Is there something in his background? What about Michael Cohen?
Michael Cohen must have impressed the president. We're talking about 10 years ago when he first started to work for the obviously pre-presidential Donald Trump, as somebody who would take a bullet, somebody who would do things that other lawyers might not want to dirty their hands doing. I'm not suggesting that they committed crimes together, but it does appear as though Michael Cohen was involved in things that other lawyers wouldn't go near, like paying people for silence, like getting newspapers to say something different than what they wanted to say.
So why wouldn't he talk about that now? That $130,000 question, as Laura Ingle put it. I won't tell you yet, basically, was his response.
Again, it's hard for me to figure out what his game plan is.
Should the president be worried?
Yes.
Why?
Well, if Michael Cohen is telling the truth, that he who once said he would take a bullet for the president now can't wait to roll over for him, he obviously knows something that the feds are interested in hearing, and they will soon go through a procedure whereby he will tell them what he knows, and they'll decide whether or not they want to use it. Now, they won't do that until they have leverage over him, and they won't have leverage over him until they indict him.
We've seen a lot of bloviators. You've got Michael Avenatti out there for Stormy Daniels. You've got people who say, I have a disc here on Twitter, and I'll show it, and it's got all the evidence, and I've got recordings. But in terms of just whittling this down to real evidence, I mean, is Michael Cohen another one of those bloviators?
I don't think so. This is a real case. I mean, the government has more than 1 million pieces of evidence that it obtained from 4 search warrants that it executed on his homes and his places of business. We don't know what it is, but a retired federal judge went through all of it and found a few hundred that are protected by the attorney-client privilege and gave the vast majority over to the feds to allow them to use it and present it to a grand jury. We don't know what it's evidence of, but it's evidence of something that the federal prosecutors are interested in.
Now we've gotten to the point where your perspective and expertise and experience come into play. I refuse to call it pure speculation because you've seen so much of it.
You're so kind.
So what is it?
It's probably bank fraud. It's probably the borrowing of money to pay off obligations of then Mr. Donald Trump without telling the bank exactly where the money is going to go. So if you borrow money from a bank and say, I'm going to put a new roof on my house, and instead you use the money to pay a porn star.
Any amount?
Well, it would, in order for it to be fraudulent.
It's got to be above a certain amount.
No. The amount reflects the penalty. The amount doesn't reflect the crime. You can be fraudulent with $1. You're not going to get 10 years. But if you're fraudulent with $130,000, you're going to get 10 years.
I gotcha. Bank fraud likely.
Yeah.
Always great to have you on the program. Thanks for being on the mezzanine.
I love the mezz, as you call it.